are archetypes. And the only way I found out about these archetypes, I'm just going to pause this real quick. Or turn it off because you can't pause the record. I found this guy named Jordan Peterson. I actually bought his book and pretty much watched every lecture he has. Exaggeration cue. Adoing. Because he was so freaking captivating. And he always talked about these Carl Jung concepts. I was like, Carl Jung, yeah, I know Carl Jung. And then I started searching him up, and he's actually a pretty interesting guy. And one of his theories on how he believes the human psyche like relives itself is by living through these archetypes or thinking through these archetypes. And archetypes, it's like an older original pattern that things or people go through. 'Cause it's an ancient Greek word. The ancient Greek word archen means original or old, and the ancient Greek word typos means pattern or model. So when you put them together, archetype is like an original pattern, an old pattern. So the way our psyches live it by is by recreating these ancient patterns, and it's split up into four different ways. And I wrote here that universal. So they're like universal characters that we watch on movies, TV shows, cartoons, televisions, personalities, people. Like for example, rock stars are like the archetype of like the rebel usually, right? They're like, yeah, chicks. I don't live by the rules or whatever. You know what I mean? Those are like the rock stars, or like the perfect girl is like the innocent, right? She's like always innocent, and she like believes it's always like a good, and you know what I mean? It's like we live through these archetypes, right? Like right now I'm playing the archetype of the interesting guy. I'm gonna cut that out because that's pretty doogie. So Carl Jung used these concepts to describe the human psyche. They are embedded into our collective unconsciousness. And when I say collective unconsciousness, I can make a whole other video about this, but basically he believed our psyche split up into our consciousness, our unconsciousness, and then our collective unconsciousness. And the collective unconsciousness is shared between like all of humanity. And I am not a psychologist or psychotherapist, so like don't like jam me down with this, bro. But this is pretty much what I've researched, and it's pretty cool. So, people relive their stories. People live their stories. Like for example, let me just give you an example. Like the Chad. He always plays we'll just call him like the hero, right? Like he goes and plays the football game against all odds, and he's like the quarterback, and he wins the game for the whole team, right? And the chicks go, wow, he's so cool, he's so whatever, right? Or like the artistic person is like the rebel slash explorer, right? They explore things and they're unconventional, right? And they're dominant in all people, okay? And all of us, one of these archetypes is a dominant driving archetype that we live by, the dominating force, the dominating drive, okay? Find out who you are. Find out which archetype you are. And I don't know what I said in the last one. And so the first category here is the ego types. And these kind of types are driven on their egos, obviously, right? In the name. Now, the first type are the innocent type. And the innocent type's motto is, free to be you, free to be me, right? That's their motto. And I'll go more into it on a separate video describing the innocent in a deeper level. The next one is the orphan, regular guy slash regular girl. They're like the working man. Sorry, I had a pop-up thing. They're like the working man, working woman, right? The good old man, the backbone of America. And their motto is, all men and women are created equal. When I say America, I mean the world, right? Like the working man, all right? Working woman. And their motto, like I said before, really quick, all men and women are created equal. Okay. The next archetype inside of the ego is the hero. And the hero's motto is, where there is a will, there is a way. And we all know the heroes. They're a little obnoxious, but we love them anyway. I love them. They're awesome. Hey, a lot of the things that we view are impossible. They usually conquer. So yeah. The caregiver, and their motto is love your neighbor as yourself. The caregivers are amazing. Shout out to all the moms out there. Now the next part of the category are the soul types, and the soul types are driven through their soul. They are soulful people, and that's the story they tell themselves, that they're driven by their soul. And the first one is the explorer. And the explorer's motto is, don't fence me in. So don't like box them in. Like we all know those kind of people, when you box them in, they either like punch you right in the face or they punch whatever box you put them in. The next one is pretty similar, but not as harsh. I mean, no. These people are much more harsh. The Explorer is not as harsh. The Rebel. Rules. Their motto is rules are made to be broken. I got a buddy like that. Man, he can't stay still for more than a minute, I would say. I would even say I'm kind of... No, I wouldn't say I'm about that. I do hate when people act all like micromanagement. Like, I used to have a boss like that, like a couple years ago. And she, you know what, let's just move on. But those kind of, the Rebel, they just need to be, they're the ones who actually punch out. The Explorer like to explore the unseen, and these people like to break out. The next one we have is the Lover. And their motto is, you're the only one. And we all know those people that are the best lovers. Okay? The next one is the Creator. And their motto is, if you can imagine it, it can be done. And my brother's actually kind of like this. But they just like that, they think of something and they like to mold it and create it and present it to the world, and then they redo it, like artists. A lot of artists are like that. Okay, the next category on the archetypes are the self-types. And those people are driven by their self-image. And maybe not as shallow as that, but more driven by like their self-identity. Or their identity is derived from their self-archetype. And the first one is the Jester. Jester. I have a list. Forgive me, right? Remember I said that? Their motto is, you only live once. I want you to understand a bit. Their motto is, you only live once. I know the goofy ones, the ones that you always laugh at. Like, hilarious shit. Oh, you know who's a Jester, dude? Like, almost all those podcasts that Joe Rogan kind of helped make, like, what's that one? Theo Vaughn. Theo Vaughn is like the top Jester, dude. That dude is so fun. Actually, it's kind of more than that though. That his friend Chris D'Ela, whatever. He's a Jester, dude. That dude's funny. The next one would be the Sage, and their motto is, the truth will set you free. And a lot of sages are like the self-help people, I would say. Like this one guy named Tony Robbins. I would call him a sage. Yeah, they always are like trying to find the answer, right? The truth will set you free. Oh, Jordan Peterson. The next archetype in the self category is a magician. The magician, their motto is, I make things happen. That's pretty interesting. I kind of feel like the magician archetype, I would love to make, when I make a separate video on it, I'm going to probably get deep on this one. But I feel like they kind of manipulate it a little bit sometimes, right? They like to create illusions, right? It's interesting. It's one of my favorite songs, The End by the Doors. I'll blast at the end of the video. And then the last archetype is the ruler. We all know the ruler, right? The ruler in the room. I would say like the archetype. Their motto is, power isn't everything; it's the only thing. And I'll give you a couple examples in a separate video, but we all know that ruler archetype. They're always driven to be the power, right? And usually they're the ruler because people like them to lead. So they're not like power-hungry people, but they desire to have the control, and they're usually good at it too. They have good intentions most of the time. That's it, pretty much. So, yeah. And then there's one more thing I wanted to talk about. And that is the 4 cardinal orientations that define the 4 groups, which each, like I said, each group contains 3 of the 3 categories. And I'll pop that on the video at the end. It's like, it'll be right here. And you can kind of, I'll pause the video right here while I have it up. I'll pause it while I have it up right here. Right here, I'll put it up there. And I want you to look at it, and you can rewind the video to remember what I said about, or what, like the name I made them. And then I'll make a couple videos explaining each one deeper. But I want you to comment down below which one you think you are, because I'm curious to see like which one you are. Because I kind of think I am, like, I would say I am like, I would say I'm part. I'm not like I like to have fun and joke around thing, right? Yeah. Like, I like to joke around and stuff, but I also like being a sage. But I don't know if you know if I'm not smart. But that's me telling another story, right? So it's fun to kind of just look at these and then kind of like remember the stories you tell yourself, because that's usually how you live your life. But that is it for this video. I hope you like my hat. I'll take it off now so I don't look like such a douche. And that's my first YouTube video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'm going to blast this music for the end of the video. It'll probably sound terrible because it's not like through the audio, but whatever. I'll put the links that I used, this information, right here. And the Doors. Check out the Doors. This album is fire.